Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Game Junkies podcast, the place which brings you all the latest gaming news, releases, and content. I'm your host, Chris, and normally I would be joined with my co-host, Jack, but unfortunately he's had some technical difficulties this week. When I say technical difficulties, I mean he's dropped his laptop and he can't actually see the screen because it's just cracked. So, I mean, if you can class it as technical difficulties, then yeah, well, that was a bit of a tongue twister. So, it's going to be a bit of a weird one because it's just going to be me, and this is, pretty new for me. So, I'm just going to, try my best and we'll go from there. So, I mean, obviously, there's going to be segments which are going to be different. So, this week, we're not going to obviously do the guess the game part or the trivia round purely because, I can't do the trivia round by myself. But yeah, we'll do the news and we'll do what I'm sort of playing this week, and then it'll probably be a shorter episode purely because that's just how it is, So yeah, I mean we've got quite a lot to go over this week. I mean, Gamescom 2020 started, I guess Thursday, maybe Wednesday last week, and there is a lot of news. It's incredible. So I mean, I'm not going to go over every single thing because it would take 500 podcasts, to be honest with you, to go over that. So I'm just going to go over the important bits, I guess, or the summarize what the main events are, or what the main games and stuff like that was announced. So I mean, I'm just going to kick it straight off and go straight with Borderlands 3, Psycho, Craig, and Fantastic Fustercluck DLC. That's a fantastic name. So this comes from IGN. The new DLC takes players inside the mind of Craig, which was an amazing character in Borderlands 2. Loved him. I think everyone did. I feel like he's just, the main character of, everyone loves him, right? He's just so crazy and, like a psycho. Crimson Raiders Resident Psycho, who returns after his appearance in Borderlands 2. Players must travel through the warped memories of Craig's, including the siege of Castle Crimson, followed by Sapphire's Run, featuring an evil train, and then Benediction of Pain, I want to say, which essentially serves as Craig's origin story. Now, this is going to be pretty cool because we'll be able to see, a background to Craig instead of him just being, a crazy psycho, right? So we'll actually be able to, expand on him, see who he is. I mean, we I love him as a character. I feel like the community also loves him as a character, and with trains, I guess something with with psychos and trains, they have a sort of weird connection with them, and we finally get to see why. I guess that's why we're gonna do it, and if we're gonna get more backstory to him, I'm all for it. I love it. It looks, if you haven't seen the trailer, you should definitely check it out because it just looks wacky and fun, and I'm all for it. I can't wait for it. I think it releases early September, maybe September the 6th. But yeah, it looks incredible. It looks so fun. It looks like a nice one to finish the DLC packs off, and finish Borderlands 3 and sort of bring it home to a home run. I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed when they didn't feature any extra characters. But I'm happy with that. It's fine. We don't necessarily need them because there's so many characters in the Borderlands universe anyway. I feel like we just don't necessarily need them. And going into Craig's head will be an amazing, fun, and interesting adventure that I just can expect to be just crazy. So the next one is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, confirmed for PlayStation 5 launch window, alongside gameplay trailer. So if you haven't seen that, you should definitely check that out as well. It looks amazing. It looks fantastic. The demo basically showed the traditional third-person Ratchet and Clank gameplay with the new rift shifting feature, following an encounter with the one and only Dr. Neferus, I want to say. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I just don't. I played a little bit of Ratchet and Clank when I was younger, but I don't know too much about the lore and the characters of them. But this looks gorgeous. Like, it looks like a game which was, I know it sounds weird, but was made for to show off what the PlayStation 5 can do. And the fact that they're showing off the new rift shifting feature shows that the loading times and how the PlayStation can actually handle the game, just, it seems perfect to me. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. And even though the game is meant to be it's not meant to be a realistic looking game, it still looks fantastic. Like the lighting, the glossiness, the weapons, the details, the design, everything just looks incredible. And if you haven't checked it out, you should definitely see this one. You do see a bit more than what you did with the first reveal trailer, and again, it just looks awesome. The next thing they also announced was Dragon Age 4 first look, and it was sort of like a little behind the scenes trailer. Didn't really get to see much. There's not too much to talk about. It was more of an announcement that they are doing it, which I'm pretty sure 90% of the gaming community or the world knows. It was going to happen. There's no sugarcoating that. It was bound to happen. And I mean, I didn't really play many of the Dragon Age games. I think the only one I played was Dragon Age Inquisition, which was a lot of fun. I did find it a little bit overwhelming purely because there's just so much to do on it. But with this one, I can imagine what games are going to be like on the next gen consoles, how open world games are going to be, and how they're going to feel. Hopefully there's going to be next to no loading times, or even the world's just going to be completely open where you don't need to have a loading screen. And I can imagine the look. I mean, Dragon Age Inquisition looked fantastic anyway, and I'm pretty sure that's like 2013 maybe. I could be wrong. So for 7 years, 8 years game, it's doing really well. I think it holds up. Like I could play it now and think, what, this is still a really fun game to play, and the graphics haven't aged. But the next one is also World of Warcraft Shadowlands, which is to be released on October the 27th. I'm not a huge World of Warcraft guy. I just couldn't get into it. I tried my best, but I just couldn't. It was one of them games where I felt like it just felt really overwhelming, and I had no idea what I was doing, no help. Obviously you could look online, but I'm just like, I can't be bothered for that. And yeah, I mean, it's no surprise World of Warcraft are still doing DLCs for it. It's amazing to me that they haven't changed really the graphics. Like, you'd think that they would try and up them, as much as they can, but they haven't really, and I don't know why. They could just sort of, well, I would say they could just take it offline for a while, but I guess that would make a lot of people really angry. But yeah, I mean, you can expect to see that on October 27th. Just look at the trailer. It's it looks like fun. I mean, it doesn't really mean much to me purely because I don't know much about World of Warcraft. I don't know if the community are going to be really excited for it. I'm sure they are because every DLC is good. But it looks fun. It looks fun. So the next big one I want to talk about is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So we finally got a trailer which was revealed in a Warzone event, which was really cool. I love how games are doing that now because it sort of brings everyone together to get into the game and makes you want to actually play it, and then you bring everyone together, and it's a clever move because it makes everyone go on to the game to watch it, and you feel like you're part of it, and you could be talking to people and be like, oh, do you remember that event that happened in Call of Duty, or do you remember this event that happened in Fortnite, and so on and so forth. So the trailer just featured the returning characters, can I say, from Frank Woods, Alex Mason, Jason Hudson, and even President Ronald Reagan. So this is interesting. I mean, the graphics look amazing. Like, they look stunning. It looks next gen to me. And the trailer just shows off the characters are returning. Apparently your character will be able to be male, female, or neutral. So this is for everyone. And it's apparently meant to be a multiple choice sort of thing. So your actions do have consequences. So in the campaign, especially, obviously, probably not online, because I don't see how that would work. But anyway, the campaign, basically the choices you make. So it'll be like a sort of mini little open area, and there will be ways that you can handle the objective. So if there is an objective to kill this guy, you can either just go in there guns blazing, or you can go in there stealthily. And I think if you choose, whichever way you choose will affect the outcome of the game. So if you obviously choose to do it stealthily, not many people are going to know you. There's not going to be much alert. It's not stuff like that. Whereas if you just go in there guns blazing, everyone's going to be alert, and it's going to affect the whole storyline, which I think is really cool how they're going that direction. It's not as linear as the old games. I mean, I had no problem with the games being linear, but I do feel like they have to spice it up a little bit purely because it's just, the campaigns they get, like, for Black Ops 4, for example, they even didn't do a campaign because they didn't feel like it was necessary. So it makes sense that they're going a new way. I'm looking forward to that. It sounds really fun. It sounds like it's got a lot of replayability to it purely because of the multiple choices. Apparently, the ending is affected based on your choices. So again, you could play it a few times and have different endings, which is pretty cool. It's going to be annoying when you kind of want the ending you want, but don't get it. But, it happens. But for like the fact that, Black Ops are sort of going back to their roots is a good thing. I think they try into, same with Modern Warfare. I think Modern Warfare did the same. They realized that going the futuristic route, like going into space and jetpacks, just wasn't working out as much as they hoped. And they just want to go back to, how it used to be. And I think this is definitely going back to what it used to be. It's meant to be a direct sequel to the first Black Ops, I believe. So it will be interesting to see how they sort of fit it in. Apparently, you will be going across multiple countries, so it won't just be, Russia or America. You will be going across loads of countries. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. There's not too much revealed about multiplayer or zombies yet. I imagine they'd be doing zombies purely because it's Treyarch, and Treyarch just handles zombies so well. The multiplayer, again, they do really well. I love the Black Ops games. I think Black Ops 1 and 2 were just one of the best for multiplayer games, besides the Modern Warfare 2 series. And it sounds amazing. Like I said, there's not too much revealed about it. I believe we are getting gameplay at the start of September, so keep an eye out for that. But if you haven't checked out the trailer, definitely do it. It's it gives you a bit of nostalgia when you see Mason Woods and Hudson. It gives you that sort of vibe that they're coming back. Yeah. So we also saw, like, I'm going to go into the final bit. We also saw Fall Guys Season 2. So Fall Guys has been just incredible and just been going off on the charts. Everyone's talking about it. It's just amazing. And it is a lot of fun. It's a nice, easy game to play. When I say easy, I mean a stretch. See, now this is the word I got to pick is very particular. So it's not a stress-free game, but it's not as, I don't know, it's not as violent, I guess, as, like Call of Duty, or you don't feel like you're getting worked up as much. I mean, I do, purely because I just get frustrated when I get knocked off the edge and someone does it, but that's just what you're going to do. But it's a fun game, and what they sort of showed in Season 2 is, they're going to try and expand on the maps and expand on, the different sort of courses that you do and the mini games, and you've got loads of new skins. They've apparently taken input from the community, because some of the skins you've seen is just, like, on Twitter is just amazing. Like, I've seen personally, is just incredible. So yeah, go check that out as well. They've shown more courses, and I think it's going to be released very soon. I think we've got like 20 days left of Season 1. I could be wrong, but I believe it's like 20 days left. But yeah, that's pretty fun. So, like, that's the big things that's been announced with Gamescom. Like I said, there's so much that's been announced, and it's been going on for the past 4 days. And you should definitely check out things. Like, there's a lot of indie games going on. There's a lot of cool new things, as talking about. And it looks really fun. Even on Twitter, they announced Resident Evil. Netflix is doing a Resident Evil series, which is, it sounds amazing. A lot of people were kind of disappointed by the films. They were okay. You just got to try and, I think you just got to try and separate them. You can't really compare them to each other, like the games to the films or the games to the series, because they're their own thing. If you go into it thinking, I want it to be exactly like, Resident Evil 2, or I want it to be like Resident Evil 3 game, you're going to be disappointed purely because it's its own thing, right? That, the game is the game. If you miss that storyline, if you don't want that storyline, go back to that. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it with Fallout before. If you want that game, you could still go back to it and play it. There's nothing wrong with that. I know it's nice to see it on the big screen and live action and, stuff like that. But, it's not the end of the world if it's completely different. But apparently it will take place in Raccoon City. There's not too much details about it. Obviously it's going to take place in Raccoon City, right? Because that's just, Resident Evil City. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be, I think Netflix are doing pretty well at the moment. I think with Witcher, if there's anything like The Witcher was, then I have faith because Witcher was pretty good. Um, I enjoyed that. So if it's anything like that, it's going to be, pretty good. So in terms of what I've been playing this week, I have been going back into the Dark Souls series. So I have been playing Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Kin, right? And Dark Souls 2 was the first Dark Souls games I played. I know, it was a weird order, but I played 2, 3, then 1, which I know is just a weird order. Um, but I love the Dark Souls series. Like, I think it's one of my favorite series purely because of just how amazing you feel after a boss. And Dark Souls 2, I haven't played that game for about 5 years, I'd say. Yeah, at least 5 years. And it's just incredible. I love, like, a lot of people hate Dark Souls 2. They think it's, well, I say hate's a strong word. A lot of people think it's the worst one. Like, when you go online, you'll notice a lot of people hating on it and saying it's the worst one. But I actually kind of like it. I like the areas that you have. I like the bosses are just amazing. I mean, it is a hard game, but that's Dark Souls for you. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, like, they just felt like Dark Souls 2 was hard for the sake of being hard. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's, you don't go into Dark Souls expecting it to be an easy game. It's like, you just wouldn't do it, right? And I mean, there's definitely some bosses which are just, super hard. And then there are just some bosses which are just really easy, like the Royal Rat Vanguard and, what was his name? Oh, there's one with like a Mangus, I think it is. And they're just super easy. So it has that sort of variety. I mean, the areas are ridiculously hard, some of them. I mean, some of them are just crazy to just get past. Like, I don't know, it's just crazy. But I like the character, like, I like the, I'm not going to go on about Dark Souls 3 or 1 because I'm sure I'll, play them pretty soon and talk about them. But in terms of Dark Souls 2, I think the Scholar of the First Kin, I haven't played it on PlayStation 4 on current gen. I played Dark Souls 2 on Xbox 360, and I haven't played Dark Souls 2 since then. And I never played the DLC, so it was my first time playing through the DLC, and the bosses on the DLC are really hard as well. But I love the Souls games. Dark Souls 2, it has an interesting storyline if you dig deeper, because it's one of those games which, again, doesn't really reveal too much through, like, you kind of have to pick it up yourself. It doesn't just come naturally to you, the storyline. You have to, talk to people, or, you have to sort of listen and pay attention, because otherwise you don't have a clue. I mean, I have to look it up, to be honest with you, because half the time I don't know what's going on. But it makes sense when you look at the backstory. Like, when you look at the backstory and the lore, it's just, yeah, it's amazing. I'm sure we'll do a deep dive on Dark Souls on our Patreon soon. And that, I'd love it. It's incredible. But like I said, in terms of the boss designs are just amazing. I think the storyline where you are essentially a undead trying to free the land of the curse of of everyone going hollow, and you want to try and stop Nashandra. Spoilers ahead, by the way, if you haven't played it. You want to try and stop Nashandra, who is married to King Vendrick, to stop her from getting on the throne of Want, to rekindle a flame and just destroy everything because she's evil. And it is a bit confusing. Like, the storylines of Dark Souls can get a little bit like choppy, and you're a bit like, well, what's going on here? But the Dark Souls 2 one, I like the variety of different areas that you are. I think they have quite diverse. They are quite different. Like, you have some swampland places, you have some castle places, and the enemies. Some of the enemies, the NPCs, the normal enemies, to get to the bosses are very difficult. Some of them are even harder than the bosses, I think. And I just like, everything you've got, like Majula, which is the sort of home space where you just feel safe and you can go back there if you ever want to chill out and not feel scared that a boss is going to kill you or whatever. And yeah, I mean, in terms of the Game Junkies rating, I'm going to give it a solid 9. I love the game. I think it's amazing. I don't know if it's my favourite Dark Souls game, but it's the one that's close to my heart purely because it's the first one I played. And that's just, yeah, it's just how it is, But I loved it. So, like I said, we can't really do a, guess the trivia round this week, purely because it's just, well, it's going to be awkward, just me here, right? So unfortunately, we're going to have to skip it, and it's going to be a very short episode. This is the conclusion to the episode. So thank you for listening to the podcast, everyone. I know it's been a bit of a weird one this week, purely just me. Bear with it. We will be back to usual next week. We thought it was better to just have one of us do it than to not release an episode at all. So yeah, we do appreciate your patience, and we'll be back to normal next week. So if you would like to support us, that would be greatly appreciated. You can check us out on Patreon/GameJunkies to find out more information. And also, if you want to keep tabs on us on our social medias, you can on Twitter @GameJunkiesOG. So thank you for listening, guys, and until next week.